Hi, my name is Lewis and I'm a researcher at the Leading Edge Forum. Welcome to the Technology and Trends series. In this episode, we will look at automation and me. Automation, what it is and isn't. Not to be confused with robots on factory floors or automation of enterprise processes, we are talking here about automation at a personal level, connecting the data and services that are relevant to us together, automating tasks and responding to events automatically, that allow us to achieve both higher quality and quantity of productivity and better lifestyles. Automation then is the glue for our digital lives, allowing us to seamlessly orchestrate tasks. Automation tools bring together lots of internet-connected services and devices, allowing us to join them up without any programming. Hundreds of service and device creators have already created interfaces, known as APIs, to allow automation tools to join them up without any programming. These include makers of white goods, vehicles, enterprise and personal software and technology components. Just for example, if I use the IFTTT, which stands for If This Then That automation tool, here are a few things that I could do right now. I could send myself a message when my GE washing machine finishes washing my clothes. I could keep track of anyone taking photographs within a 100-meter radius of my house and then post them on Instagram by creating a log for me in a Google spreadsheet. I could send my spouse a message when I'm 15 minutes away from home in my car. I could turn my Philips Hue lights on and off at certain times of the day, and I could keep track of Facebook and Twitter profiles and keep them in sync. These are just a few examples of what's available right now using one automation platform. These are all mainly at a personal level. There are also enterprise apps that have APIs with automation providers too, from providers like Salesforce, SQL, MySQL, Sugar CRM, Twilio, and various components of the Amazon, Google, and Microsoft portfolios. In general, these automation platforms are not predominantly for full-on enterprise integration, but more for the individual 21st century human behaving as a citizen developer, hooking up everything in their personal and professional lives to make things work better for them, allowing them to do new things and do things they were already doing with no manual effort. This is particularly helpful when we realize that each service and device is continually evolving, and connecting things up without automation would be a heavy burden. Trajectory. Hundreds of services and devices have presented APIs to the automation tool vendors like IFTTT and Zapier in the last couple of years. The number of people already using these automation tools is in the millions. There are already a vast array of things we can do with personal automation. The bottleneck here is really our willingness to make time to experiment and learn. It is likely that large organizations will incorporate this ability to integrate into their own infrastructure to empower their employees with the benefits and flexibility of personal automation. The advent of intelligent agents, natural language control bots, and virtual personal assistants from companies such as Amazon, Google, and Apple is making personal automation more accessible and fun. Tell Alexa to lock up at night is a sample recipe on the IFTTT website right now. And whilst automation is currently mainly about automating personal workflows, the Internet of Things is making more and more of our devices, houses, vehicles, bodies, cities, connected, inspectable, and sometimes controllable. As this happens, automation becomes more and more powerful and exciting. As automation tools continue to mature, more and more companies will build APIs for them, and more users will join the fray. We will experience the network effect. Value. The value of personal automation is pretty clear. There are three sources of new value. 1. Automating routine workflows. 2. Responding to events in a more timely way. And 3. Doing things we couldn't easily do before. Automating routine things, like synchronizing contacts and profiles between services, or muting our mobile phone when our calendar says we are in meetings, saves us time, mindshare, and energy, which means we can handle more complexity in our lives with less effort, freeing up more time for more interesting and strategic work and a better lifestyle. Responding to events in a more timely way, a trivial example being remembering to call ahead when you are 15 minutes away from home, clearly enhances our personal and professional lives too. And doing things we couldn't easily do before is quite exciting too. Like the example I mentioned before about monitoring people who take photographs within 100 meters of your house. As new APIs come on board, the sky's the limit in terms of these three sources of value. Risks. Similar to virtual reality, which we talked about in the last episode of Technology Trends and Me, automation is still maturing, and there are multiple incompatible platforms with their own ecosystem of partners. Betting heavily on one of these platforms would create a measure of risk, in that you may have to shift later, although compared to other areas of the digital world, switching costs are not that high. Another risk related to IT is a 21st century version of what companies have called shadow IT, where citizen developers create functionality in a way that is useful to them, but the IT organization does not have visibility of it. As companies connect their own enterprise services to these automation services, this could well become an issue, with personal automation workflows breaking as enterprise systems and outside services evolve. Cloud, the Internet of Things, wearables, and invasive technology can be part of automation, so all the cyber risks related to them need to be considered. For example, if you had a service which continually monitored your blood sugar through a wearable/invasive device, which I personally did recently, and it linked through automation to a machine intelligence service, which in turn linked to a service that gave you insulin automatically, you better be sure the cybersecurity around that workflow is strong. But having talked about all those risks, perhaps the biggest risk is doing nothing, not experimenting, not getting exposed to automation. There is plenty of uncertainty as to how it will evolve, which vendors, platforms and approaches will dominate, but it does seem pretty clear that personal automation needs to be part of our 21st century lives. Tools. As we said earlier, this is still a nascent market, with the provider landscape and ecosystems evolving, changing boundaries. But having said that, there are three strong players at present. The first, IFTTT, if this then that, is the longest established personal automation platform. It is mainly focused on consumers and their personal workflows, although it does contain some functionality for small businesses. In the IFTTT world, users choose predefined applets from a range of categories, including social media, Internet of Things, small business owners, politics, and even outer space. They are then given options in each category to automate these tasks using hundreds of popular services. Devices and services that currently connect to IFTTT include GE, LG, Whirlpool, Samsung and Philips appliances, i.e. washing machines, ovens, fridges and light bulbs, home automation platforms such as Nest and Hive, wearables from Fitbit, Nike Plus, Jawbone and Withings, most of the famous social media and communication services, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, Pinterest, Line, YouTube, Gmail, Office 365 email, cloud storage tools like Box, Dropbox, Google Drive and OneDrive, Amazon Alexa, Salesforce and hundreds more. IFTTT is currently free to use. Zapier is very similar to IFTTT, at least in look and feel, but more of its functionality is aimed at the business user. There are a variety of options allowing the automation of tasks relating to data files. Zapier's predefined functions are called Zaps, and there are options such as MailChimp integrations to help you sell more and stay in touch, and saving emails matching certain traits to a spreadsheet. Similar to IFTTT, Zapier interfaces with hundreds of web services and claims to have already established more than 1 million users. Looking through the list of apps that connect to Zapier, we see many similar services to IFTTT, like Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Swarm, etc. But it does feel like there is slightly more of a business and developer flavour, with services like GoToMeeting, WebEx, pretty much all of the Amazon EC2 platform, and others. Unlike IFTTT, Zapier is not free, and after a free trial pricing is based on a variety of subscription options. Microsoft Flow is a fairly recent addition to the range of automation tools available, and is currently a little more restricted in terms of its capabilities compared to the other similar offerings. As one might expect, its key strength is its ability to interface with other Microsoft services. Microsoft Flow enables the user to create multiple step flows to automate basic or repetitive tasks across a variety of cloud-based services, or to choose from a range of predefined templates. Similar to IFTTT, Microsoft Flow is aimed at the consumer end of the market, and as such can be considered a sister offering to Microsoft's enterprise equivalent, Power Apps. In addition to these three, Stringify is a new entrant that is designed purely to work with mobile devices. It currently has an iOS app and a beta Android app. Stringify uses the concept of flows like Zapier and IFTTT. However, instead of one simple trigger, it allows you to flow a complex number of actions and triggers together. Stringify also incorporates the element of time, in that you can specify how long you want the flow to be active. This is in contrast to the other platforms that have more of an on-off concept. What should I do? These automation platforms have risen in response to the connected world that surrounds us as 21st century humans. The onus is on us as individuals at present to make sense of their potential. No one is going to do this for us. We each have a responsibility to investigate and learn how we can best derive value. We recommend interested participants do the following. 1. Take a look at the available automation offerings and start to experiment. 2. Try to design automation that augments part of your life, whether personal or business. 3. Experiment with linking physical devices as well as linking data sources. 4. Investigate your enterprise choices. If you use Office 365, check to see whether you have access to Microsoft Flow. Consider forming groups with colleagues and or friends to investigate and share notes on different automation platforms and services in order to accelerate the learning. Consider running hack days for your teams themed around personal automation. As always, at Leading Edge Forum, we stress the importance of haptic sensing. Nothing compares to hands-on experience. Keep abreast of emerging offerings as well as enhanced capabilities from existing providers as the market matures, remembering that this is a relatively new space and is likely to continue to evolve. As you identify potential value that automation brings to your busy schedule, share this with your network. And thanks for listening.